You're listening to the Social U podcast, sponsored by Social University. Be sure to follow us on our socials listed in the show notes. Now, let's dive in.
I have white pants. I'm going to leave that at the beginning. Today on the Social U podcast, Karen wears white pants. It's Laura Black and Becky Johnson. And guess what? Today, we're discussing Karen wearing white pants. You're listening to the Social U podcast. This week, we wanted to share some behind the scenes secrets of being a social media manager. And we want to let you know how we stay current on the world of digital marketing. It's changing constantly. It's a landscape that will be different tomorrow than it is today. And a lot of times people ask us, like, how do you know? How do you know the algorithm has changed? How do you know what Facebook /Meta /whatever is doing this week? And honestly, it's pretty difficult, but we do have our little secrets. So we're going to share some of those with you today.
And it can be overwhelming if you're doing your social media yourself and you're trying to hit multiple platforms and you're stretched thin. To add figuring all this out on top of it is very overwhelming. So we do have some secrets that we do want to share.
So do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. I would say my biggest thing is schedule research into part of your weekly or daily to-do list, depending on whatever bandwidth you have. Because if you're not even looking to see what's new, you're never going to figure it out until 2 or 3 weeks after the fact, if you're lucky. And then you're already using outdated information and not reaching the people that you want to reach. So I would say if you're working on your schedule and you're one of those kind of people, make it part of your daily routine or weekly.
If you go 2 or 3 weeks without thinking about it, everything's going to be different. It's just the nature of the game today is that it changes so much and all of the different platforms are trying to keep up with each other. So they're constantly changing to be more like another platform that then is also changing.
Well, I remember there for a while, Facebook, seriously, it felt like it was at least on the daily, but not, I mean, it might've been more than that, or it was multiple changes on the daily. And it was just so much.
I can remember people saying, hey, I need to know how to do this on Facebook. And I would walk them through it or send them a tutorial just written out. And they would be like, things you are telling me aren't showing up. They're not on there.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, they've changed it again.
And even now, depending on what kind of account you have, you may not see what I see.
My first one is going to be, I subscribe to several newsletters, but the two that I think are the most helpful and most up to date are Social Media Today.
Mm-hmm.
And literally every day you get a newsletter and it tells you all the news that's happening in social media. Mm-hmm. Social Media Examiner. Social Media Examiner has great resources. You can be a paid member and get trainings on there, but also just for free, you can go read their blog, you can get their newsletters. So I really like both of those resources.
I would definitely say those are my two favorites too. They're just so informative and easy to digest and helpful, easy to implement.
And I will say that they have everything listed out with a headline. So if you see something that catches your eye, you can read it. And then a lot of times we will actually share that with our entire office. If we see something that's really interesting or necessary, we will just put it in our Slack channel and say, hey, everybody read this.
Yeah, for sure. And I would add on to that, monthly trainings are a really, really great thing to do. Like if you go, you periodically go through and find a new training a month and they'll point out good trainings. They'll have those great ones to look at, but other people too. Like right now, the really hot one is Canva Create is coming on, I think, May 23rd. And we love Canva. Yeah. We've been with Canva for such a long time. We've been through the evolution of when we first started with Canva, we didn't like it because it was very hard to use. Well, they got smart and really got on the ball. And now I can see a beginner getting onto Canva and being overwhelmed because there are so many options. So monthly, at least monthly, if you can do it more often, great. Do a little more training or learn a little bit more. And so shout out, they're not a sponsor, but we love Canva. So you should just go to canva.com and you can sign up to listen in on the webinars and learn all kinds of things. It's great.
Yeah, I remember being one of the last holdovers on the now GoDaddy Studio, but it was the Over app. And we were all like really into Over because it would do some things Canva would not do. And then it's like overnight, Canva just decided to do everything and more. And it just really now is the best you can get. And you can use it on your mobile device or your desktop.
It's so robust. And I do still have Over. And because I just think I loved it so much, I can't get rid of it. And maybe I need to check back on it and see how it's doing these days because it is still there. But man, Canva really, really hit it out of the park.
Yeah, you are totally right about the trainings. And I'll say it's awesome to work for a place where we are encouraged to do training. So I don't know how it is for where the people listening work, but we are encouraged to do an hour of training every week, whether that's listening to a podcast or reading a book or doing like the Canva training or taking a Udemy class. So it's really awesome that we work for a place that encourages us to do training so that we are up to date, because it is a field where if you don't stay up to date, you're going to get left behind.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the other things we do is like recently we had a day where how many do we have? 8 of us on our team. We all took a different AI platform because all this new stuff is rolling out. And it would take us forever to go through it all. And we each broke down a platform and then shared with the whole team. And we had some excellent information in 30 minutes or less. And it was just great. So if you have the advantage of having a team or some people you can collaborate with to work together and get to the bottom of what will help you the best, that's always fun. I like that.
We were able to go over 8-9 different AI programs because I think that a couple of us did more than one. And in that hour meeting, we were able to determine that out of all of those programs, 2 of them were really useful for us and what we do. They were all great for what they do, but we were able to determine that 2 of those were really good for us. And it just really saved us a lot of time to have it spread out, have the research spread out like that.
Yeah, I love that. I really did love that.
So this one is going to seem kind of obvious, but social media. I learn about things that are happening with social media on social media. We follow several digital marketing experts and marketing influencers. And a lot of times they will actually post things before it's even being carried on the news sites. So that is another way, besides just your news, a lot of this stuff, all the stuff with TikTok and China and all that, you'll see that in the quote unquote real news. But just digital marketing news then is something that would only make sense to digital marketing people, or that only digital marketing people would care about. You can find a lot of that on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm going to shout out kind of a mood, but one of my favorites is Brock Johnson on Instagram. He's great. And he always has current information about, hey, wait, it's changed. Tweak it this way, do this. And he's certainly very successful at what he does.
And he keeps it real, doesn't try to sugarcoat anything or be like, oh, I will tell you if you buy my program. Although he does have programs you can buy.
Yeah.
I like that he keeps it real. And he's just super entertaining.
He is. And he gives a lot of free advice and content. So you don't have to subscribe to anything and you're still gleaning great stuff. So
yeah, I love the social you move there. Give it all away for free. We give it all away for free because we know that most people just don't have time or desire to do it. So we'll give the information for free. But if you don't want to do it or you don't have time to do it, then we can do it for you.
Yep. I do love that saying. Karen's always saying there's plenty to go around, and we educate, entertain, and inform. And we've met some great people that way, just offering things and talking to people. And the world's a great place. It can be.
Yes. And if somebody's not a great fit for us, we probably know somebody they would be a great fit for. And we don't want to gatekeep that. We just want everybody to get theirs.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So what else do you have on your list?
I think that was most of my list just because it's staying up to date. I think my biggest thing was, okay, just remember there's so many changes and it's hard to stay on top of everything. And you only have your bandwidth that you can operate on. So don't overwhelm yourself. Just do what you can.
And I will say, even though it changes really fast, there are really good books on digital marketing out there that have information that is timeless. So if you have an Audible account, if you have a Kindle account, it's always good to get some of those books by people like Karen's favorites, Seth Rogen. She also loves Jen Sincero and people like Pat Flynn and all the podcasts that she listens to. Karen, being our fearless leader, now needs to come tell us what she does to keep up because she's been doing this a long time. So, Karen, how do you keep up with the current state of social media?
Constant and evolving research. You have to do it all the time. You've mentioned several, Amy Porterfield, Donald Miller. There are some great podcasts. Every single resource you guys listed, Social Media Examiner, Social Media Today, all outstanding. Me personally, one thing that 100% works for me, because we go live every single Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central across multiple platforms, I have to do that research to prepare myself to do that live. So because I am constantly presenting material, I have to put my hands in it. If I took 2 months off, it would be problematic because things change so quickly. You lose it pretty fast. And I would say for our listeners, we are a great resource because there's 8 people who constantly research, constantly are on podcasts. And when we have something to announce to you guys, I think we are a pretty good resource for small business owners, nonprofits, do-it-yourselfers. That's what we're here for.
And we have tons of free content. If you look at our live videos, our blog, our podcast, we have another podcast besides this podcast that's a little more into the nuts and bolts of how to, called Social University Podcast.
We have an educational podcast and an informational podcast.
And which one is this?
This is the informational podcast because we have multiple pieces of information and it's to keep you kind of up to date with what's going on. But the how-to for a lot of stuff is on Social University's podcast because we get into, for what starters, we do themed content like when we did on email, why do you need an email, how to get your emails open, platform to use, like that's educational to me. So anything like that you guys need, there's a good chance it's out there on one of our platforms for free.
We educate, inform, and entertain. I tend to think of this one more as an entertain.
Yeah.
It is informational, though.
Also entertaining. I think this.
Hopefully entertaining. Okay, and so shameless plug, the educational one comes out every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central.
I go live at 10 a.m. Central. I take 2 or 3 Wednesdays off a year. Seriously, there's at least 49 videos, podcasts, blogs annually that we put out. Awesome free content.
And if you miss one, you can find it on our Facebook page under videos and on our YouTube channel. So they're all there. You can look back at years of videos. Now, keeping in mind that social media changes from day to day, you may not want to look at one from 5 years ago to get the best information about what to do today for Instagram. But it's there if you wanted to.
I did an audit recently and I was telling them that we do have some free resources. And she said, I would rather pay you to sit down and tell me what I need to know that pertains to me than have to go through a bunch of free resources. And that's fine too. We're happy to do that as well. Again, because I do all this training all the time. Stats are that's my wheelhouse. If you want to know why you need to be doing something, I'm going to tell you.
That's a good point too, because people, I think, know that we do trainings, like group trainings, and they know that we do management. But if you want to do it yourself and you don't want to just learn a training that's like one of our overarching trainings that we do, we also offer audits of your company's social media. And we also do consulting. So we can do consulting sessions with you and give you action steps to take that only pertain to your company without training you on something that's going to be half what you need, half what you don't need.
Yeah.
Or doing it for you if you really want to do it yourself.
Yeah. And the person I was talking to, she's like, well, how long does it take? I said, well, I can normally audit most of your digital presence in about 2 hours, but most people can't handle more than 90 minutes. She said, what do you mean? I'm like, it's a lot of information. You're going to have an action item list that will surprise and horrify you sometimes. So yeah, happy to help. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Yeah. I
did an audit this week for a LinkedIn profile and it was not terrible. It was actually pretty good. And it still took 25 minutes on just that one profile to go over all of the action steps and give advice on how you could make it better.
Ringing endorsement. It was not terrible.
It was obvious that the person was not like a social media person, but they had a lot of good stuff on there. They had already claimed their personalized URL. They had a nice headshot. They had keywords. It was the advanced special. Oh my word. Her baby was not ugly. It just, there's some tweaks that could be made. And now she's making them and it's going to be amazing.
Well, there are so many reasons to encourage your team to pursue additional education. Team members who get additional training they feel more valued. They are more valuable as an asset. The retention rate is much higher. And there's so much stuff that's available that's super cost effective. I don't understand why every single employer doesn't encourage their team to constantly be learning new information.
And because it changes so often, I feel like it's really easy in this industry, especially to have imposter syndrome because it's just breakneck pace. Everything changes. And so it makes you a lot more confident when you know that you're keeping up with all the trends. It makes you more confident when you're talking to your clients because you know that the information you're giving is actually accurate and not just something you learned 3 years ago when you were in a college class. Like it's something from today.
That is a powerful tool when you're talking to a client who will say something to the effect of, oh, we have to be on TikTok. I don't think you do. And let me tell you why I don't think you do. Or
we have to be on Clubhouse or no one's going to know we exist.
We have to be on Instagram threads. It's a powerful tool when you could say, this is why I recommend this and supply statistics, analytics, experience, and so forth. It goes a lot farther than, well, it's just because I said so.
Right. Well, that's true. Not to go off on a tangent, but I really hate how threads posts show up in your feed and it'll show you like half of a thread and you have to click on it to see the whole thing. But I don't have threads downloaded on my phone. So I can't look at the whole thing and I don't want to, but I hate that it's there. I hate that it's there as an option.
Mm-hmm. You're not tricking me into joining Threads, Instagram.
No, I am not going to click on it. I'm not. I might, but then it'll be like download Threads and I'll be like, nah, no thanks. I did it. I was on Threads, but it just is like, it didn't capture me. I didn't really care about it.
Most invasive privacy policy I've ever seen.
Although you can quit it now without getting rid of your Instagram account.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, woohoo. They should have had that beginning.
I love Instagram. I really, really do love Instagram. But I feel like right now with the little message things above your name and then the threads and then I feel like they're just trying too hard.
Laura's the little Mary Sunshine that makes everybody, let me put some positive spin on it. And I'm the one that's.
Yeah. Listen, Instagram, embrace who you are. You are not TikTok. You are not Twitter. Be who you are.
I would say that for every single platform. They're so busy trying to be each other, they forget who they are.
Remember when LinkedIn was going to do stories for a hot minute?
Kill me.
You've got to be kidding me. Thank goodness that didn't go.
Yeah.
Cue Mufasa saying, remember who you are.
100%. And Facebook wants to be everybody. They are the kid at the playground who wants to take everybody else's toys and put it in their own sandbox. He's at war with Twitter. He doesn't like YouTube. He wants to make sure that Instagram is beating, serious identity issues there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he doesn't want to lose all his followers. He's so afraid of his product. Like, can we just remember when Mark Zuckerberg did an interview with Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce behind him on his bookshelf? No, I don't remember.
What?
He did an interview and he's got this bookshelf behind him and there's like some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce on it. And there were so many memes that were like talking about how he's an android. And he's like, yes, this is what humans put on their bookshelf. Awesome. That's kind of gold right there. I love Sweet Baby Ray's. It's good stuff. It's how random is it to just be like product placement? Here's some barbecue sauce.
I love Earl Grey tea, but you're not going to see a box of K-cups behind me on a bookshelf. Weird.
Maybe barbecue is like his thing. Maybe that's his hobby.
Maybe
eating barbecue.
Don't get it off the books. Get me going.
It is odd to have food items on your bookshelf.
It's weirder of that would be like to have your own autographed picture behind your head.
Oh, is that weird? Should I take one down? I didn't realize. I'm not self-aware.
Becky. So that's a no for you. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Got it. This week, I really wanted to talk about something that has personally affected me recently, and that is our addictions to our phone and the pervasiveness of our phones everywhere, but specifically in our cars. And there's a few things I want to talk about with having our phones in the car. First of all, the fact that there are now cars where you can attach your car to your phone
and it will play on the screen. And I'm not talking audio. I'm talking video, games, things like that will play on the screen. And I'm just thinking, that's a slippery slope. That's a bad idea.
Bad idea.
Them now have like safeguards built in where if you're moving, some of them won't play, or it has to be from the passenger side. But I feel like that's a slippery slope.
That's just the worst idea ever.
Agreed.
Right?
No, I have a newer car and I can't even change the clock, or there's something else I can't do while my car's out of park. So why would we think this is a good idea?
I'm
Right.
old school. I refuse to have a video player for my toddler when I had a toddler in a van. I'm like, if you can't entertain yourself for 5 minutes between here and school, life's going to be real rough for you, buddy.
We had one that was portable, but we were driving from Colorado to Alabama, and that was the only time that thing would come out, is if we were driving more than 2 hours.
Yep.
Because otherwise, that addiction, and it's bad now, so I can't imagine what they would be like.
To be fair, if I go for an
24/7.
extended period of time without my phone, my palm's itchy. And I would love to tell you, just doing research. That is not correct.
Do you remember when you would go to the bathroom, you had to read the shampoo bottles?
Yes.
Now you have a phone. You can I Duolingo when I'm in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lose my streak. I'm on 330 something days right now. So
That's
My
awesome.
daughter's on up there too. Y'all should compete with each other.
oh, yeah, she needs to be my friend on there.
Okay.
All the good old days when you go to the bathroom and just go to the bathroom. Yeah, I don't even remember what that was. Like, even in the Reader's Digest, for those of you who know what that is.
Oh, they had the best. I like the hero stories.
Did any of you do the Ellery Queen Mysteries magazine?
No.
It's a whole mystery while you went to the bathroom. Good times.
It was Humor in Uniform. That's the one that I liked.
That's the one.
And my grandmother always had tons of them, so I would always read them at her house.
And for our younger viewers, Highlights magazine. Yeah, there was always something. And now, I mean, you just have access to everything everywhere all at once.
It's true.
Yep.
But the two ways that this has personally affected me with the car thing, the first one is a couple of years ago, I had my favorite car that I've ever had in my entire life. It was super cute and had a cool backup camera, which I don't have now, which I wish I still had. It was shiny and red and the paint was still good. I was waiting to turn in the rain. It's raining. I'm turning left, so I'm having to wait for traffic to go by before I turn. And someone in an SUV who was texting on their phone in the rain, in the dark, never looked up and just smashed into the back of my car while I was sitting there and totaled my car. So I had PTSD for quite a while after that. I'm still a little nervous anytime I'm stopped in the road waiting to turn. My eyes are just glued to my rearview mirror and I'm kind of tensed up waiting on someone to hit me. That is a problem. People texting and driving and smashing into my car. And I don't know that that's why another wreck that I had happened, but just to put it all out there, part of the PTSD was that in 2 months, I was rear-ended twice.
Oh my goodness.
And the first time it didn't total the car, but the second time it did. I don't know that the first person was texting. I was stopped to hit a red light and they smashed me. So maybe they were. But both times I was sitting still and I got rear-ended. So that is the first way that it has affected me personally, but more recently, so I like to think of myself as a safe person. I do not text and drive. However, I will voice to text. I'll voice speech to text or what I'll be like, hey Siri, text Robbie. Hey Siri, text Karen. Oh, Siri's trying to do that right now as I'm saying it. Just kidding. Yeah. And I will also sometimes, if I don't even want to do that much, I'll just leave or I'll send voice messages where it's actually me talking, not speech to text, where it's actually just a recording of me talking. Well, in Ohio, they have passed a law where if you have your phone in your hand, it has to be up to your ear. You cannot hold your phone. So I did not realize this. I knew that it was illegal to text and drive, obviously, which I'm super for. I think that's a great idea. But I was holding my phone in my hand, just up close to my face while I was driving so that I could send a voice message and it would be close to my face and hear me. And I got pulled over because I had my phone in my hand, but it wasn't up to my ear. And I got a ticket and ended up paying $169.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And because it is considered a worse offense than speeding or something like that, you can't even just pay it online or go down and pay it before your court date. You have to actually show up in court
go before the judge, make your plea, and take the day off and have to sit at the courthouse for a couple hours because you hold your phone in your hand. Now, you can have it in your hand if it's up to your ear. That makes no sense. But you can't have it in your hand if you're just holding it out to the side so that it hears your voice better. And I was a little salty about that. I get it. It's a law. I'm going to follow the law. I was doing wrong. I was breaking the law. But it never in my wildest dreams did I realize, like, I thought as long as I wasn't texting that I was okay. Dude, was it the end of the month and they were making a quota? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, but it's easier. Like, can't you, if your phone's connected to your car, can you not voice to text by just talking in your car?
I have a 2004 car, Karen.
That's enough.
My car does not connect to my phone. I have a 2004 Honda Civic and it's still doing great. I love Honda. I mean, they last forever.
Nissan all day.
Also, it's not illegal to do that with your watch. So if you have an Apple Watch, a smartwatch, you can text from your watch, and that is not illegal. And that would be way more difficult for me to do all the time.
It's so small.
If I had an Apple Watch, I would never be unplugged. Like, my screen time would jump to 200 hours a day. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the only reason I still have mine is I like the fitness part of it, but I kind of wish I didn't. I honestly use mine like an actual watch and just look at it to tell the time most of the time, but also for fitness. But I love that when I pull it up to look at the time, it puts a different picture of my kids on it every time. So it kind of looks, oh, look, there's Briar and it's 12:54. Like, I love that. I do check the time on it. And I asked the guy, I said, I understand that I am breaking the law, but I was looking at the road. I was not looking at my phone, and I just had it up to where it would hear me better. And he said that the reasoning was if a text were to come through while I was doing that, I would look at it. You don't know me, sir. You do not know my life, but there's no guarantee I would look at it. There's no guarantee, though, that I wouldn't look at it if it was in a holder. And I will go ahead and tell y'all, I have no sense of direction. If I'm going anywhere, I've not been 150 times, I have to use my GPS on my phone. And I don't have a holder for my phone. So I usually just sit it up in the dash and just look at it up in the dash of my car. So, like, that's not illegal. And I could get a text while I'm doing that.
That's ridiculous.
And might look at it. So I just wanted to get y'all's take. My spicy take is I should be able to hold my phone as long as I'm not texting on it or looking at it. I get that they're trying to keep us safe. I do understand that. And there are extremes both directions, but sometimes it is hard. Sometimes it is really hard. Are you guys ready for the social media hotline of the week? Yeah.
Right. Social media hotline. Mm-hmm. Okay, getting a bunch of unfollows. Let's see what's going on. Oh, it looks like you're tagging a bunch of random people in every post. Okay, that's spare me. Okay, people do not like that. No, they do not. So you stop doing that, and your engagement will go up. Okay, bye-bye.
Super spammy. Nobody ever does that we know, right? I will tell you, we don't do it. If you're our client, we're not doing it.
Nope. No, it makes me crazy. It's a huge pet peeve. Please don't tag me. I'm going to show my age a little. Once upon a time, it used to be sunglasses. When they were selling sunglasses, they would tag it. They knew.
Yes. Yeah.
Or you'll get in a group like what's happening in Helena, and they'll tag everybody when they put. Stop.
Don't use it at everyone. No.
Correct.
Y'all just do it. If I get a notification that someone tagged at everyone, I don't even go look at it because I'm like, this is not for me. It's for everyone, and I'm not everyone. There is a random time to use that. My neighborhood group does it if it's a major announcement. And to me, that's like the only time. Active shooter in the neighborhood, tag at everyone. Right.
Yeah, but no.
Your kid did really good at T-ball. Stop, Cindy. No one cares about your grandkids. If we see it, we see it.
Do they have 4 legs and fur? Nobody cares.
It's true. Speaking of 4 legs and fur, the algorithm is so good on Instagram at recognizing what I want to see because cats and anime just show up in my feed constantly as the things that I'm not following that it's suggesting for me. And I'm like, that's a pretty good suggestion there, Instagram. Yeah. Cats dressed as anime characters, even better. There's a lot of that, actually. Cats dressed as anime characters, like, oh my word, the thing. I get a whole lot of horse stuff. I like horses. I think they're really great. But why am I getting horse stuff? Because I watched one video. Were you a horse girl in high school? I mean, I liked horses, but I didn't have the opportunity to be around them.
Okay, listen, unrelated, but related. Robbie went to school with this girl that I'm actually good friends with now. And she was a horse girl, self-proclaimed horse girl. She loved horse racing.
Oh, yeah.
Loved horses, did not own horses, did not have access to horses, did not go to horse races, but just loved it. She is now an author that has written books on famous racehorses. And now that is her career. And now she goes to all the races and she is an expert in the field. And I just think that's so cool. Like,
That's cool.
she was a horse girl and she made her dreams come true.
That's super cool. Well, my kid, she played violin all throughout high school. And we had a tutor at one point who did hunter jumping. She was a violinist, but she also did, where they set up the crossbars and in the arenas and they go and jump. And one time we went to see her and it was fascinating. So I could see like really getting involved in that world, even if you weren't a jumper or a rider. It was really cool. Really cool.
Shout out to Jennifer Kelly. We can put a link in our show notes if you're interested in racehorses, and you can go check her out and check out her books. Sippin Social Tea. This one's kind of long, so lean in and pay attention. VP, what date was this ad sent? Me, do you mean the campaign flight dates? VP, no, when did it go out to people? Me, you mean the launch date? VP, no, I mean, what day did this ad get sent to people and they saw it? Well, I'm not on everybody's computer all the time, so no idea.
Well,
It is really frustrating to, I'm sure I wouldn't know personally because my boss knows about social media, but I'm imagining it is super frustrating to be the social media person for your company and have a boss that has no understanding whatsoever of digital marketing, and for them to just assume things are true that are not, like that you can just tell them when everybody saw an ad that people are going to see at different times that's going to go out to different people in their feed. It's like, there's so many variables in there. When it goes out, what people are searching for, what time people are online. Like, there's just so many different things that you cannot just say, everybody saw this ad on April 12th at 10 a.m. No, doesn't work that way.
It's right up there with the list of everybody who visited your website.
Yes. You just give me a list of everybody that visited my website this week.
I want you to call everybody that visited the website.
How do you propose we do that? Right. Like, they're not giving us their information just to be on our website.
Or you'll get out. I don't understand why people won't fill out our form. It is 87 fields to enter out. Nobody is going to do that. Nope. You can have a name and an email and maybe an industry, and we're done. I'm out. If I have to do more than that, I am out. And I get so mad about gated content where it's just a general link to a general website and they want my email for me to read the article. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm going to backdoor that every time.
Or it is one of those situations where somebody has to go click through 3 different pages to get to your offer. You're not selling anything. Why would they do that?
That's a huge obstacle in this industry, is a lot of people don't understand enough about what's done consistently in order to not only ask the correct question, but to process the information from the answer. So it's launch date versus flight date versus, it's like impressions versus reach. People still, and that terminology has been around for 15 years. And I would be willing to bet you if I asked 10 people on the street the difference, they would not be able to answer me. You have that in every industry. Hey, I bought a camera. I'm a photographer. Hey, I bought a laptop. I'm a author. I bought a pencil. I'm a writer. Yeah. I have Facebook. I'm a social media manager. I think a lot of, we had that more a few years ago. Now I'm seeing more and more social media managers who are super qualified, and the jobs that they're applying for the requirements are insanely unrealistic. To be a social media manager, there are so many technical skills you have to have, but do you need to know how to code? No. Should you know how to do hosting for a website? Also no. I mean, you can't do everything, can't be all things to all people. So we're getting a lot less than that.
And honestly, to me, if I was hiring somebody and I'm looking at their social media experience, even if they might not have everything that I want, you have to know that if you're successful in social media, you're able to adapt on the fly. You're able to learn. You're able to change with the times. So you should be able to pick up other things too. So
I'd rather have somebody who's excited to learn, who will learn it, and has a basic understanding about marketing than somebody who's been doing it for a while because you just don't know their skill level.
Or somebody that thinks they know everything. I think about it the same way when I go to the doctor. My doctor that I had surgery a few months ago, and my doctor is way younger than me. I was literally her first patient once she got through with all of her residency and all that. I was like at her office the very first week that she was an all by herself doctor. And somebody asked me, doesn't that worry you? Because like she just became a doctor. And I told them she just learned all this stuff and it is still fresh for her. I would rather go to her than somebody that went to medical school 50 years ago. And I know they have to do continuing education, but still they learned the fundamentals 50 years ago and things are a lot different now. And I felt totally comfortable with her being my doctor and she did a great job. Talk about a field where things change. That too. Right. Could I be her mom? Yes, but that's okay. Right?
Yeah. I can be Michaela's mom, and I know that because she told me.
Michaela, when you're listening back to this to do the show note, pro tip, do not tell Karen she could be your mom. Next time, say grandma. And really, Laura, all her teachers are probably dead. My second grade teacher is still on Facebook, and she is my Facebook friend. And so is my bus driver from elementary school. They are Facebook friends. Really love them.
Remember who you are.
Becky's face looks exactly the same as when she was a little
They
girl.
remember who they are.
They do. So my second grade teacher, I left my spelling book at school the day before our spelling test. And on her way home, she dropped it by my house. That is the kind of legit amazing teachers I had when I was in school.
That's very sweet.
I love that. I do share this on my personal profile, so maybe she will listen. Make sure you join us next week because we are going to be talking about power scaling with the different founders and CEOs of all of the social media platforms.
Tune in to see if your pick comes out on top. Thanks for listening to the Social U podcast, sponsored by Social University. We'll see you next week.